This is the Sports Hit List. By the fans, for the fans.
Episode 4 of our popular series, Mount Rushmore NBA edition. We are here, Carl Coulange, for the Sports Hit List, by the fans and for the fans. Let me introduce my panel. We have the coaches in the building. Can't stop, won't stop. Do the Diddy Bop. How you doing, sir?
Take that. That was for you, for the remix you did of the Mount Rushmore of small forwards. But we here we gonna do this one time. Shooting guards, we got one time and we out of here. That's it.
Mr. Numbers, Andres Rivas, the Mount Rushmore king and the idea of this concept. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing amazing, bro. Another great intro from you. I appreciate you, my guy.
We have the co-founder of the Sports Hit List, Mr. Ziggy Zig. How you doing, man?
I'm here. What's going on, y'all? I'm good.
And we have the president of the Laker Nation, Brooklyn Division, reigning, defending NBA champion, and our social media coordinator, Mr. Anthony Mullen Jr. Anthony, how you doing?
I'm great, feeling like a champ, and you got to call me Big Stepper. I'm a big speaker around here, right? Add Big Stepper to
Listen,
that,
I don't know how many more nicknames. I just gave you a wonderful introduction. What else did you want me to say?
I'm a big stepper around here. You see the big baller. I'm a big stepper around here, okay?
Oh, my God. All right. So treat
me like the 17-time champ I am, okay?
So we are at the shooting guard position. Let me give Jamaal Womack the floor first. This is, I believe, your first Mount Rushmore out of the series that we've developed. So this is your first episode. So, Coach, I give you your flowers. In the words of Ray Jarvis first, who are your top 4 shooting guards all time in NBA history?
Woo! So I'm gonna set. It's always tough to set it off and go last. I feel from watching these productions, because to set it off, you're gonna get some hate, or some change, and last you may get the same players. So you kind of feel like you're being repetitive. But we're all going to be repetitive, I think, in the top at least one, unless we got some small forward hate left over from last week. But we're going to go on to, can I start with, would you like me to start just with the 4 or honorable mention?
Normally people start off with their honorable mentions and then they go into their 4. So you can do that if you want.
So my honorable mention, first I'm going Iceman, George Gervin. You know what I mean? George Gervin, one of the best scorers the NBA ever saw. Top 40 all time in scoring in 10 seasons played. That's almost unheard of, to be top 40 in scoring when only 10 seasons played. He really changed the game. Average, I think, 26 points per game for a couple seasons straight. Had a 33.1 point per game season. He was a straight scorer. For all of us who couldn't dunk growing up, I couldn't dunk, so the finger roll was my move of choice. You get to the hole, you throw that nice little finger roll. Iceman, he's an icon. So he's in my honorable mention. Manu Ginobili, just because what he did on a global scale. I have a lot of respect for Manu. I played for the same team he played for in Italy, in Reggio Calabria. So I saw firsthand how much of a legend he was, how he ushered in a lot of that global, basketball from that standpoint of where he was from. And Italy loves him. They swear by him in Southern Italy. He's a legend, coming off the bench. 6-man, one of probably the best 6-man of all time in the history of the game. You put him right there in the top 3 6-men. So I got to give him his flowers. And here's where it gets tricky. James Harden makes my last list. James Harden is honorable mention. He's a great scorer. He has changed the way analytics show the game. He has added that you can't touch me, MC Hammer, when I go to the basket, because they're going to call a foul. Now everyone uses those moves, that sweep through move we all see where all the players get the foul. He's one of those guys to kind of really put that up there. And, he's just a great scorer. What he would do in the championships, yet to be determined. We got to see if he gets there. That's why some of these lists, we got to see where they go to in the rest of their career. But let me get to my top 4. All right. It's going to start people up. But at 4, I'm going Allen Iverson. Pound for pound, to me, pound for pound, one of the best scorers ever to play the game of basketball. Now, the person I'm leaving out, I'm going to have to say his name because it could have been 4A, 4B. The person I left out was Clyde Drexler. Clyde Drexler was really my number 4 when I did my homework. But the little guard in me, the person who played the 2, you remember, Carl, I was 5'8" 2 guard at St. Francis for 2 years. So this is personal. Iverson made it popular for small guards to be able to score and not be pigeonholed into that point guard position. He transformed what all scoring guards do today. He wasn't the first, but he transformed it. I like to think like Dwyane Wade is going to be on my list later, but I like to think, what if they got drafted and put in different situations. You know, what if D Wade was in the Sixers with that kind of team? And what if Iverson got to play with the likes of like a Shaquille O'Neal or Alonzo Mourning? You know, I don't know. Iverson never had that cast. He never had that cast. Well, you know, we can't say what he would have did if he would have had those guys who knew how to win championships.
He'll put in his work.
He put in his
Those
work.
those who know. You know, those who know.
People try and say like he wasn't a winner, but sometimes you got to learn from winners to be a winner. D Wade is a winner. He's a guaranteed bucket getter. I'm going to get to D Wade next.
And only teams
he's
win,
my
so
number.
you don't have the team.
And can you let him make his pick, bro? Damn, man. Like,
piggybacking off of what he's saying.
Nah, chill.
It don't matter. Let him make his pick.
I'm just ad-libbing.
And do your thing. You see, I got the Diddy and Mason. If I'm gonna get my
right, I'm just ad-libbing. I'm not even saying nothing.
Yeah, but come on, you messing up my editing. You're supposed to just go straight on. Like, come on, man, get with the program, man. Damn, let him finish it.
Okay, media man. Okay, media man.
But
ahead, Coach.
that moved me right into my number 3, which is Dwyane Wade. Dwyane Wade coming straight as he was a grown man when he came into the league. I remember his first game. He had 18 points. I believe it was against the Sixers in his first game ever. You know what I mean? So it's that correlation. You see Iverson during that game, like, yo, who is this kid? Like, Dwyane Wade came ready to play. And what he did to win the championship and take that team and be the MVP, being the underdogs in that series, kudos to Dwyane Wade. You know, he's just a fierce competitor, you know, taught LeBron how to win, how to be a leader. You know, LeBron James was a great player, but he helped, I want to say taught, he helped the maturation process of LeBron James into ownership and how you run a team and how you show up, and less is more. You don't have to be, you know, the loudest person in the room. You just got to do your work, put your head down, and I'm going to play, you know, excuse my language, balls out every moment. He's another guy that if he didn't play at that kind of speed or that kind of, you know, I don't care what happens with my body, his career probably could have got prolonged. But Dwyane Wade jumping on the floor, going to the basket, didn't care about fouls. You know what I mean? He's my number 3 on the Mount Rushmore shooting guards. Number 2, Black Mamba. You know what I mean? What can I say about Kobe Bryant? You know, he is, you know, it's so unfortunate what happened, but, you know, during his playing time, him and Jordan was always in a conversation. There was always that conversation, and he wanted that conversation. He never shied away from that conversation, and he didn't care if you said, I mimic Michael Jordan. Who wouldn't want to mimic the best? Because the people who come after Kobe are going to mimic Kobe, and who comes after them is going to mimic them. That's how the NBA goes. Jordan had to mimic somebody. Kobe mimicked Jordan. It's passed on, and it's passed on, and it's passed on to the next generation. Black Mamba, one of the fiercest competitors, pure-blooded scorers that you ever see in the game of basketball, and he made it popular. You could be the good guy off the court, but on the court, I could be the bad guy. And I know that personally. You know, I got friends who played with Kobe Bryant who said he wouldn't speak to me during practice because he was like, I didn't earn it. I didn't earn the right. Now, that may sound diva-ish, because it is diva-ish, but to have the balls to tell somebody that tells you what kind of caliber player you are and what you believe your game is. When you tell somebody don't speak to me yet, you got to practice harder.
Greatness.
Yo, that's greatness. And number 1 for me, Michael Jordan. You know what I mean? Listen, his airness, you know, Michael, what he did for the game when we grew up, iconic sneakers, you know, the shots, the dunks. A lot of people say GOAT. You can argue the GOAT because I think Kareem may have had a longer career, possibly a longer career. LeBron James has a longer career of being the best, but Michael Jordan had his peak 6 years. Nobody denied, except for that 1 year when he came out. We all know, you know, he came out for 2 years, didn't play 1 year, 1 year lost to the Orlando Magic. But in 6 full seasons of him playing, no one won the championship but his team. No one won the finals MVP but him. His peak level, I think, just a small window, was better than anyone else's peak in NBA history. Longevity is a whole nother conversation, and that's where it gets dicey. So that's my picks, man. Y'all can kill me if I want.
All right. So Coach goes with the answer: Allen Iverson, Flash D Wade, Black Mamba, and his airness in Michael Jordan. Andres, the floor is yours. Who makes your list?
Listen, man, before we get started, there's a thing going around on Twitter called SARS, which is the mass protest against police brutality in Nigeria. And Carl's always said that we're not. You can have politics in sports, but this isn't political. This is human rights. So our Nigerian brothers and sisters that are watching this video, we're not. You guys are not alone, and we're calling for the end of the police brutality in Nigeria.
Absolutely,
That's an
man.
important
Thank
topic.
you for that, for sure.
Salute.
100.
To a non-important topic like basketball, let's talk about shooting guards. Honorary mention number one has to go to Allen Iverson. It's hard to deny him when you're talking about the greats of the 2000s. And another honorary mention I want to give to is to Clyde Drexler. If you just started watching basketball and you don't know who Michael Jordan was, Clyde Drexler went up against Michael Jordan in the 1992 finals, and he also brought the Blazers to the 1990 finals. In the 92 playoffs, Clyde averaged 26 points per game. And in 1995, he finally got his championship ring on that Rockets team that beat 450-win teams, one of two teams in NBA history to beat 450-win teams. Actually, three. The 0-1 Lakers and the 2010 Lakers. Shout out to Mulan, NBA champion, as we should address him clearly. Number 4. This is where it gets amazing. This is where we get controversial. James Harden is number 4. 3-time scoring champion, MVP, 8-time NBA All-Star. He was the NBA assist leader in 2017. He is one of 7 players in NBA history to average 30-plus points per game. Side note, Jerry West is, for me, a point guard. Is he on the Mount Rushmore point guards? I don't know. You have to find out next week. So number 4 is James Harden. Number 3, it's obvious, Dwyane Wade, the Flash. 13-time All-Star, 3-time champion, Finals MVP in 06, a top 3 NBA Finals performance of all time. That is my objective opinion because it's a fact. 2008 gold medalist in the Redeem team, one of the greatest teams I've ever seen in my lifetime. NBA scoring champion 2009. A day like today in 2003, Dwyane Wade made his NBA debut. Number 2 is the late, great Kobe Bryant. Rest in power to his greatness. 5 championships, MVP, 2-time Finals MVP, 18-time All-Star game, 11-time All-NBA first team, 2 gold medals. He literally birthed this generation of players. You know, a lot of people like to say that Kobe copied Michael, as coach like to say, but this whole generation of players, they looked up to Kobe. If you didn't know that, well, now you know. You learn something new every day. And number 1, I mean, who else but Michael Jordan? In an 11-year span from 1987 to 1998, Michael won 5 MVPs, 6 finals MVPs. He was a defensive player of the year, and he was an all-star every year. So those are my 4 picks. Mr. James Harden, Mr. Dwyane Wade, the late, great Kobe Bryant, and Michael Jordan.
All right, you heard it from Andres. He goes with James Harden, Dwyane Wade, Kobe Bryant, and MJ. Mr. Mullen, you're on the clock, sir. Your top 4 all time.
Yes, sir. That's Big Stepper. But yeah, so let's start off, first of all, number 1 on the top of the charts. We, of course, have to start with the GOAT, and we all know Kobe Bean, Black Mamba, Bryant, okay? We all know the accolades. Greatest Laker of all time, which is the greatest franchise of all time, not just basketball, but all time. Pretty much whooped on, like Andrea said, everybody tries to beat him, but nobody can. They say he tried to beat MJ, but no, that's why he chose 24, because he was actually better than MJ. MJ wishes he can beat Kobe. Now that was stated, again,
Yo, you know you
his
losing
accolades.
service. You losing service and getting muted for the nonsense that you're saying.
Am I?
Nah, let him finish. Let him finish. Go ahead. So Kobe's the number 1.
Second, we have to go with Michael, Insecure, Jeffrey Jordan. Yes, we do. And again, we all know his accolades. 6 rings, 6 for 6 in the finals, 5 MVPs, 3 quits. And yeah, great player. Third, I'll have to go with Wade. Again, great player, Flash. We all know it. Again, if you don't know, Google it. I don't have to be long-winded with it. Dwyane Wade. And lastly, I'll have to go with Allen Iverson, the answer.
Okay, so Anthony goes with Black Mamba, MJ, Wade, and Allen Iverson. Basically, Womack's list, except you put Kobe at 1. Ziggy Zig, you're on the clock.
Ah, man, this is definitely not how I expected this to go, but I'm gonna just shoot off from the hip. I guess we're starting off with number 4, right? Number 4, and I had to do some debating to figure out who was my number 4. I'm going with Allen Iverson. When you talk about crossovers, when you talk about style, when you talk about swagger, you think Allen Iverson. Allen Iverson was a scorer, 4-time scorer, got his MVP, went to the championship, actually surprised the Lakers and stole game 1 where he dropped 50 plus on them. Unfortunately, they unfortunately they ended up losing that series. But Allen Iverson was a dog, man. As LeBron James said it, arguably the best pound for pound player ever in the NBA. To Womack's point, you can't name 5 players that average 20 points on an Allen Iverson team, on the Philadelphia 76ers, I should say, because when he went to the Nuggets, he had Melo, right? But Allen Iverson was doing it by himself pretty much, man. And he had a good coach in Larry Brown. He had a great teammate. Dikembe Mutombo was able to make it to that finals. And scorer, like I just said, there's not much more I can say more than that. You know what I mean? Allen Iverson, number 4. Number 3, Dwyane Wade. Easily Dwyane Wade. Dwyane Wade had a career that was similar to young Michael Jordan when he came into the league, right? Coming off the screens, hitting those mid-range shots, was a mid-range assassin. Went out, got 3 championships. As Jamaal said, again, taught LeBron how to lead, was able to step aside and play that 2-man role and still be a significant piece in that Miami, well, I wouldn't call it a dynasty, but that Miami championship, that Miami runs. So I'm going with Dwyane Wade for that. All right. Number 2, I see Andres over there. Number 2, I'm going with Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant, may he rest in peace, man. I grew up watching Kobe. Kobe was in my house every Sunday, NBC. You know what I'm saying? Watching him and Shaq playing that triangle offense. Kobe was a monster. We don't have to really go into it, but 5 championships, multiple All-Stars, multiple All-NBA. Played both sides of the basketball, offense and defense. Just a killer. You got scared when he had the ball at the end of the game, and you knew that it was a potential chance, high potential chance of that ball going in and him taking the game from you. So I got to give it to Kobe Bryant, man. And last but not least, everybody know that number 1 is going to be Michael Jordan. I'm not going to sit here and be long-winded with it. Michael Jordan rounds out my top 4, my Mount Rushmore.
All right. So Ziggs goes with basic. 1 second, Mac. You got MJ number 1, Kobe 2, Wade 3, and AI 4. What's up, Coach?
Now, I just wanted to throw like a fun, I like to throw those little fun facts. Kobe lived in Reggio with his father, who played in Reggio Calabria, who then Ginobili also played in Reggio Calabria, and I played in Reggio Calabria. So that's a little connection.
Maybe you're on the Mount Rushmore.
That I have.
changed my pick.
No. But
I took off MJ and I put in Mac on the Rushmore.
I like to. I like to say that because I don't think people really, and I hope people get a chance to go to travel to different countries once this pandemic ends. And if you're a basketball fan, go to some of these smaller countries and watch a game. I'm telling you, the history and the lines of cross people who played here, who played there, who may have lived there. It's just so crazy, the basketball world. And I never knew that until I got there. I didn't know where Ginobili played at when he was in Italy because he's not Italian. That's not, but most of the people from his country, they go to Italy when they want to be a pro at a young age at 16, 17. So, and with the Kobe connection, it was just great to have that. But I just want to throw that little tidbit in there.
So, Andres, out of the entire panel, you're the only one not to have Allen Iverson on your list. I had to call you out about that because I'm looking and I'm observing. Why'd you make a case for Harden over Iverson?
I mean, Harden is the greatest scorer of this generation. Might be, well, he is undoubtedly the greatest scorer in the NBA right now. He's one of 7 players to average 30 plus points per game. I mean, if you want to, a lot of people like to criticize the guy that wears 23 on the Lakers to say he played in the weak East. So I'm going to flip the script and say, well, AI only made it to the finals because he was in the East. And back to what Coach was saying.
What?
Yo, let him rock, Mac.
Coach was saying AI didn't get the advantage of playing with these players like Shaq, like LeBron, like Chris Bosh. But my friend here, hip-hop historian Ziggy, knows what Kanye West said when he won his Grammy. Everyone wonders what would have happened if I didn't win. I guess we'll never know. So we're never gonna know what AI would have done if you play with Shaq, if you play with LeBron. Period.
Where's the dislike button on here, man? They don't have one. They don't got one on here.
Okay. So objectively speaking, does he make a good case? Does Harden deserve that 4th spot when we're talking about over Allen Iverson? Is that a fair case?
If you're gonna put Allen Iverson over Harden, then you have to put Clyde over AI.
No, I don't.
Yes.
I don't. First of all, we're gonna go to Basketball Hall of Fame, right? Pro Basketball Hall of Fame. Harden, as much as I love him scoring, I don't care what he gets in those little steal lanes. He's horrendous. As a basketball coach, to watch him play defense is horrifying. This year he did better.
He's improved the last 3 years.
Yeah. I'm gonna give you that. He has improved. But for his career, I've seen some horrendous things. He doesn't give me effort all the time. Allen Iverson sacrificed his body on the court every night in and night out. He was 6 feet or 5'11", actually, maybe 5'10", playing the position of the 2 guard, which was the toughest position in the league at that time.
Do you know how many times James Harden has missed the playoffs?
How many?
0. Do you know how many times? Time out. Do you know how many times Allen Iverson missed the playoffs in his prime?
How many times?
Like 5.
Twice.
So, all right, you know how many times James Harden has been to the championship as the best player on his team?
Hold on, wait. Is that an argument that you're
you know how many
making
times
2 games
Allen
to
Iverson
0?
been in the championship?
I think that's what he's trying to do. That's why.
I'm just asking a serious question, Andres. Is that a serious? So 2 games to 0 is a case?
What do you mean 2 games to 0?
You said Allen.
2 seasons.
Oh, you said 2 seasons. 2 seasons. I thought you said 2 games. Okay, I'm sorry.
Listen, AI missed the playoffs twice in his prime, and after the 0-1 finals run, he only made it out of the first round once. And back to the center video, everyone was clowning me for why did the Rockets trade for Clyde Drexler at the deadline? Why did the Sixers trade for Mutombo at the deadline?
Mutombo plays the whole other side of the basketball. Go ahead, Mac.
No, go ahead, Zig.
What I was saying now is I was going to come to that. Mutombo played on the whole other side of the basketball. If you look at that stat, if I'm not mistaken, Allen Iverson was averaging like 32 points a game. And the second player was Dikembe Mutombo. You know how much he was averaging? Like 14 points a game, bro.
And he had the defensive. He was the defensive player of the year that year, was he not?
On that whole other side, but who's helping Allen Iverson on offense? James Harden gets
on. That's another thing too. See, sorry, Zig, but this is why I don't like when people do that, because they try to make this picture and they don't let you see the full. I like a panoramic view. Don't give me this little portrait mode screen, because what they try to do is say, oh, well, look at his team and look at this and that. These teams have to face other teams. They're not playing themselves. So yes, okay, you're talking about what he has, but compared to the competition, that's nothing.
But that's
compared
perfect.
To having Kobe, Shaq.
That's a perfect way to look at it. Like, yes, this is when we could bring it full circle. We don't have to go player for player, but we can go who meant more to their team.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people like to say that, for example, that Kevin Durant's champions don't count and that Dirk's worth more, but that doesn't matter.
No, but we're gonna.
No, that makes no sense. No, that doesn't make any sense.
Nobody
do that. We're not gonna do that. No,
play who's in front of you.
No,
yeah, I mean, absolutely.
I'm just gonna go. I only know from watching those. You can look at the names, but from watching those games, there was a clear difference in what Allen Iverson group was with him. Like if he got injured, this is how I always tell people: if a player gets injured, how would that team compete? Can they make the playoffs? Can they win a series in the playoffs? Can they be competitive? The Sixers would have been a lottery team. They would have won 5 games.
You could say that about a lot of other teams.
Right. But you know what's the other part of the argument, which I told Andres too, is to look at from the time the Sixers got drafted. They drafted Allen Iverson in 1996, and they made it to the finals. And regardless of the whole competition argument, I don't like to throw that out there. I don't like to say that and say, you play who's in front of you. We can't sit here and do the East is weak, the West is stronger. You play what's in front of you. So Allen Iverson was able to
say, okay, but for example,
but those are facts of the matter.
2001 Lakers, they played 450 win teams. You're not going to tell me that championship wasn't harder than like an Eastern Conference team that won like 34 games, for example?
It's still hard regardless to win a championship, regardless of your path. Everyone has a different path to win a championship. You have to play the games. You play what's in front of you.
I'm not saying championship A is more valuable than championship B. I'm saying if you're going to compare playing 3 40-win teams to 4 50-win teams and a 60-win team, there has to be something that gets involved in there. The Lakers won 50-something games in 2001, and every single round they played an opponent with 50 or more wins. In 2010, when Mamba won his 5th championship, the same thing happened. Every team that they played in front of
them. We would have to do that to every Eastern Conference championship back to 2000.
I could switch that around too, because like, look, if you're in the West and say you're a great West team, right? And you win, how many times you win every time you play the East? But I look at the head-to-head matchups. How did they face against the top 2 teams? Or how did they face against the top 2 from the East? How did they face against the better teams from the West? Because you're right. Those 50-win teams in the West, they are tough. I don't care if people, I know, Carl, you hate this. I'm sorry, Carl. I know you hate this. But sometimes you got to be honest. If you look at it, you look down at the road and you see those teams were tougher to beat. But I'm still not going to take away from what Iverson did, because his team was horrid without him. Like, they literally would have been the worst team in the NBA if you take him off that team. Kind of like LeBron when he was on that team that he took to the championship with the Cavs. Those teams were trash, bro.
Like I said, you take Allen Iverson.
That 07 East was terrible too.
Okay, guys, so it's decision time. Here we go. Let me open up the floor to Ziggy Zig. Ziggy, out of your 4, who cracks the list?
Allen Iverson. Allen Iverson making my list.
We know who Ant. I dare you not say Kobe, Ant. I dare you.
Oh, I'm not going to say Kobe.
I dare you not say Kobe.
Okay.
Let Ant pick somebody else.
Okay, so let's go to Andres. Andres.
The Flash, man.
Nah, go to Ant. Go to Ant next. Let me be last.
Anthony.
You better pick Kobe.
I'm not.
Who you going to pick?
The GOAT, Black Mamba. That's who I'm picking, not Kobe. Black Mamba. Okay? Say it right.
Okay, and Coach.
This was no fun, man. I was trying to make it interesting.
Yeah,
pick. I wanted somebody else not to have to be able to pick. Everybody pick their guys. Everybody knows I think Jordan's the GOAT. He's a Miami
MJ. Okay, so but you know what? But it's okay that we do this because
it's cool. But
yeah,
but it is what it is.
But this is the correct list. Anybody else have any other list? It's kind of where we have the conflict and anarchy. This is right? So we have Wade, AI, Kobe, and MJ. Is everyone satisfied? That should be the list.
Oh, I'm satisfied with the list, but whenever this gets dropped, you're gonna hear a lot of people complaining that Jerry West wasn't on it, and they'll definitely make a case for James Harden, and so I'm looking forward to it.
Now, Jerry West is definitely gonna be argued. That's a definite.
But he'll be on the point guard list. Is he on the Mount Rushmore?
He ain't on my point guard list.
I would have.
But that's the debate, though. But you know what? Position-wise, that's the argument. Is he a point guard? Is he a shooting guard?
Hold on.
He's a 1 in my book.
Carl, let me get my Magic Johnson on. When they asked him, he ain't gonna be there. He ain't gonna be there.
No, you see,
I'm on that point guard thing. How you know?
You know what? I think this is probably the most straightforward one we've had. Like, no arguments. This is what
I'm on that point guard thing. How you know he won't get in there, Matt?
Jerry, oh man.
How you know he won't get in there, Matt?
Yo, save it.
Listen, let's save that. Save that for next week. But guys, thank you so much for joining me here. It's always a pleasure and an honor to share this platform with you. Please make sure you like, share, comment, subscribe to all of our content. Make sure you check us out on Sundays at 12:30 for NFL kickoff, and also Wednesdays live on the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
Thanks for watching the Sports Hit List. Be sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe. In fact, do it now.